Hey guys, Mike Builds, welcome back to the channel. Today I have another large 48 volt off-grid inverter to test and review. We're gonna get this thing unboxed, go over all the specs, then we're gonna connect it all up and do some testing. Oh, got some loose pieces. So what we have here is the Sungold Power 12K, 12,000 watts split phase off-grid all-in-one inverter. The model number is FR12K-B. They also call it the Freedom 12K/B. This is a 48 volt inverter, solar charge controller, and battery charger built in. This unit is capable of putting out 12,000 watts of continuous power. So that's enough to power a house if you manage your loads carefully. And because it puts out 240 volts, you can run all your large 240 volt loads with it. It has two built-in MPPT solar charge controllers. Each of those can do 22 amps up to 500 volts per channel, and that can give you a maximum solar charging of 13,200 watts. So you can easily max this thing out with solar and then also have a little bit of extra headroom to also charge your batteries at the same time if you're running it at max load. It has a built-in PV switch. It also has built-in breakers with this cool little thing that flips up. So you have a built-in 300 amp battery breaker. You have a grid breaker if you want to connect this thing to the grid to use the battery charging feature or to use it in bypass mode. This does not have grid interaction feature, so you cannot backfeed with this. It is strictly off-grid. You have your load breaker, and then you also have a generator input breaker. What's interesting about the generator breaker is you can configure it to actually work as a second output if you want. This unit also features rapid shutdown for the PV, so that's kind of a nice safety feature to have. So taking a good look at the front of the unit, we have our standard 4-button configuration with the nice screen. We also get 3 status LEDs there. We get all our input and output breakers. This side right here, we have an intake air vent with a small filter to help pull air into the unit. We also have some more cooling holes right here. This is going to be our main on and off switch, PV disconnect switch, carrying handle with a very nice beefy looking mount. And these are also removable if you want to just pull them off. Here's the other side of the unit, another intake with a filter, some more cooling holes right here. We have our specification sticker, so if you ever need to reference any specs on the unit, everything is neatly printed right here. And there's another sticker letting you know that this is for inside use only. This is not water resistant, so you cannot mount this outside. Here's what the back of the unit looks like. You have 2 horizontal braces right here, and that's what's gonna connect to our wall mount bracket. So the wall mount bracket is included, has an arrow right here, and this is basically gonna get screwed into whatever surface you're mounting the inverter. The inverter is gonna slide down onto it. And then there's a bolt hole here as well as on the other side, so you can add 2 installation bolts that's gonna positively mount the bracket to the inverter. Now, as far as accessories, we get our smart Wi-Fi antenna. This thing does have Wi-Fi communication built into it. So we're gonna be able to connect to this thing remotely as well as with their app and monitor what's going on with the unit. And I do wanna test that because I've never used Sungold Power's remote monitoring software, so I wanna see how good it is. And what's interesting is this antenna can actually be mounted remotely from the unit. So it actually has an extension cable and a bracket. You get a nice bag of hardware, including a wrench. They even include very nice and large copper ring terminals. These are huge. These are more than likely gonna be for the input. I haven't seen very many inverters come with those, so that's nice. You get an Ethernet communication cable, whatever style of connection cable this is, and then you also get your user manual. Taking a look at the bottom of the unit, these are gonna be all the knockouts, PV, battery positive and negative, generator, load, and grid. Now, just looking at it from the outside, the box where you're gonna make all your connections appears to be quite large. So I'm hoping there's a ton of room when we pull this cover off. And then right here is gonna be all our communications, dry contact, USB port, and then also our parallel connection. The parallel connection is using an old school serial cable. Normally these things use CAN communication or RS-485, and it does also have both of those as well. But this is mainly gonna be if you wanna parallel these inverters up. And you can parallel up to 6 of these together. So if you need more than 12,000 watts, just keep adding as many as you need. And what's also really nice is once you knock these things out, there's gonna be like a metal surface, a metal edge. They even include the knockout inserts. That way it makes the wires not chafe on the metal. You get a nice plastic soft surface. And guys, please forgive me all the fan noise. My FlexBoss is currently running the house and we're getting a lot of solar, so the fans are ramping on and off as the sun comes out from between the clouds. Next, we're gonna pull the service cover off and take a look at all the connections. I really like this little metal door. That's pretty cool. With the cover initially removed, you can see we have massive bus bars for our inputs, and there's also 2 spots to run 2 sets of cables if you want to. And the bolts for those are already in this baggie. That's why they're not pre-installed, but they are M8 bolts. Here's a good look at our PV input. These are screw style terminals. They're not the spring-loaded ones. I know some people prefer the screws. Some people prefer the spring-loaded ones. As long as it works, it's not a problem. And there appears to be just enough room to get in there, make your connections, secure them, and you're ready to go. And you can also see your rapid shutdown deal right here. Here's our main battery breaker, all of our AC breakers. And if you look here, each of these only has 2 slots because you're gonna have your hot leg 1, your hot leg 2. All your neutrals are gonna be connected to this common neutral bar, and it shows you grid, load, and generator. And then right here is gonna be your ground bar. So you're gonna connect all your grounds to that. And that's really it. The layout is very clean and very simple. All your DC stuff's over here, all your AC stuff's over here, tons of room inside your box. The last thing you want is a nice big inverter with a tiny little box, and it makes it hard to run all your wires, because I like to run everything nice and neat. I don't want anything chafing or doing anything weird. And this looks like it's gonna work really good. As far as my experience with Sungold Power inverters thus far, it's actually been quite good. We reviewed this unit a few months back, and we also built this really nice portable cart with it. But the biggest drawback with this unit, which is not really a con, is it is not split phase. So you can only get 120 volts out of this. With this split phase inverter, we're really gonna be able to step up what kind of setups we can build. And for 12 volt stuff, when I was mainly messing with 12 volt stuff a few years ago, I bought this Sungold Power 3000 watt 12 volt inverter, and this is a low frequency pure sine wave inverter. So this thing has a ton of starting power, and this thing's also been a tank. Now this doesn't have any solar capabilities, it's only an AC charger and inverter, but it's still a tank of a unit. The next thing we're gonna do with this inverter is we're actually gonna get this thing mounted on a cart. We're gonna connect batteries, solar input, as well as all the AC outputs. So if you wanna learn how to wire your own split phase off-grid inverter, make sure you keep watching. I'm gonna show you guys step by step exactly how to wire this up. We're gonna get it booted up, communicating, and then we can do some testing with it. And I think we're just gonna go ahead and mount it to my portable power cart. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull the EG4 12000 XP off. Now what's nice about this cart, besides it being large and also having tons of room for batteries, it already has a 1450 plug on it and a 120 volt power distribution box. So it's gonna make it very easy to get this inverter connected. It's mounted a little high. I'm gonna go ahead and lower the bracket a little bit. Ah, there we go, that's much better. This 12,000 watt inverter is significantly lighter and also a little bit smaller than the EG4 12K-B. Now, in order to make sure we achieve max performance out of this inverter, I'm gonna be using some 2/0 gauge pure copper welding cable in order to make our DC cables. This is kind of the one part of your install that you don't really wanna cheap out on. You wanna use a good quality copper cable. Don't use aluminum wire. So we're gonna go ahead and get our cables made, and I'm gonna show you guys the entire wiring process of this inverter, how to connect your 240 and 120 volt load centers. Main positive and negative are all connected. Now we're gonna run the solar. I have just one run of 10 gauge solar wire going to some MC4s. We're only gonna use one of the PV inputs. There we go. So we have our grid input right here, the main load breaker and our generator breaker. The only one we're gonna be worried about in this video is the middle breaker. The first thing we're gonna get connected is our 120 volt load center. We have a neutral, a live, and a ground. That's the only 3 wires you need to connect for 120 volts. We're gonna put one of our live wires in one of the live circuits. Now, because you have an L1 and an L2 for the 120 volt circuit, you're only gonna need one of the L1s. Your white wire is gonna get connected right over here. This is your main neutral bars, and then we're gonna stick the green right here on this grounding block. And there we go, our 120 volt distribution panel is all connected up. Now for our 1450 to 40 volt plug, there's actually 4 wires. We have a hot 1, a hot 2, a neutral, and a ground. So between the hot 1 and the hot 2, that's where you're gonna get your 240 volts. And this is 6.3 Romex wire, so this should be able to handle the full output of this inverter. And there we go, we are all wired up. It is literally that easy. Now keep in mind, because this is just on a portable cart and we're doing this for testing purposes, this setup is really only gonna be good for this exact purpose. If you wanna connect this to a load center, like a critical loads panel, and build out a better critical loads panel, I would recommend doing it like that. But for what I'm doing with this inverter, this is gonna work just perfectly fine. Now I will do a video in the future, and I will show you guys how to build a critical loads panel from scratch. Very similar to what I did with my FlexBoss 21. So this inverter here has very similar connections, except it goes to a breaker panel, and from there, we connect it to all our various outlets to be able to run everything. And that's really it. The wiring is really that easy. Now, I have done this a few times. If it's your first time wiring up one of these inverters, it can seem like it's a huge undertaking, but I promise you guys, it's very simple. Just take your time, do your research, make sure you know what goes where, and you'll be just fine. Our Sungold Power inverter is just about ready to power up for the first time. We have 205 amp hours worth of batteries. We have a Sungold Power server rack battery and a watt cycle golf cart battery. They're both 16S 48 volt lithium iron phosphate batteries. I also did go ahead and connect the communication cable from the inverter to the Sungold battery so we can make sure the communication works as designed. Now I'm gonna go ahead and flip on the battery breaker. I'm also gonna flip on our output breaker. Next, we can hit the power switch. And there we go, boot it up. Dang, this thing's fully running. See if we got output. Yep, we do have output. Now, as of right now, the inverter is inverting and working as designed. It seems to be that the default battery mode is set to lead acid. That's the only thing we're gonna change. We're gonna set this thing to a lithium battery and make sure the communication works. Now, if you're not gonna be using communication with your battery bank, I would recommend just setting it to lead acid or flooded batteries and setting all your own charge and discharge parameters. Now, for me personally, the low voltage cutoff would be in the mid 40s and my high voltage cutoff would be at 56.4. That's what I do with all my other systems and I have no problems doing that. But because we are gonna be using comms, all we have to do to get communication to work is setting 32 RS-485 communication. It's disabled by default. We're gonna go ahead and enable that and we're gonna set it to CAN. There we go. Now, as far as the protocol, because we're using a Sungold server rack battery, I'm going to set the protocol to Sungold Power. Now, this is also compatible with Pace, Rider, All Grand Battery, Oliter, Sunwanda, Daking, SN Power, Polytech, Pylon Tech, Dye, and Lux Power. We selected Sungold Power, so we should be able to go back to the main menu and this should now be working. And there we go, we have 87% state of charge. So it is displaying the state of charge, which means communication is working. I'm gonna go ahead and get our Wi-Fi antenna all hooked up. And apparently the name of the app that you're going to use to monitor your system is called SolarMan Smart. So setting up the app and getting it all to work and communicate with the inverter was pretty straightforward. I just followed all the instructions and it all appeared to work pretty good. And once we actually start using the inverter and we're charging stuff and running loads with it, I will pull back up this screen so we can see what information we actually get. But so far, it looks like we're gonna get quite a bit of information. And using the app, you're gonna be able to track all your power usage and everything that's going on with the inverter. I went ahead and connected a current shunt to the input of the inverter so we can see what the idle consumption of this unit is. So this is with the AC output turned on. We're using right at 110 watts. Now that we have our Sungold Power 12K fully commissioned and connected, ready to go, we're gonna start doing a little bit of testing. I did go ahead and connect one of my main arrays that I use for the FlexBoss. I have 3 total large arrays. We have one of them connected. It's about a 350 volt array, which is no problem for this inverter. And as soon as I connected it, I turned the PV input on and the unit immediately began charging. I can also hear the fans running, but they're very quiet. Now, while we have the solar connected and the unit turned on, if you guys go to your screen, the screen is kind of dim, so it is a little bit hard to see on camera, but it does give you a ton of information. So up right here, it's actually flashing between the PV1 and PV2 voltages. Next, we have our grid input on this side, so there's 0 volts. This is gonna be our battery voltage. It also tells you what chemistry you're running, so it says LFP because we have it on the LFP setting. And then right here is our mains output. On L1 and L2, it flashes between the two. So if you click the arrows while you have it running, you can see your kVA going out, your battery's maximum discharge, which is 200 amps, your maximum charging, which is 200 amps. Shows you temperature of your batteries because we have comms working. We can see that. We can see our frequency. We can see the temperature of the unit as well. We can see how much power we have already generated, so 0.1 kilowatt hours. You can see our battery state of charge, 79%. Battery voltage, 53.3, putting in 22 amps into the batteries. And that's really it. Now, if you want to get into the menus of the inverter, all you do is hold this little gear symbol. It's going to have a setup parameter, so the double zeros flashing, and it's going to have the value. All you have to do in order to make any changes is just click through the menu. That's 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. Reference the change you want to make in the manual. You're going to click the check mark and then you can make the change. So if we want to change this value from 80 amps to 75, we can go back and forth between the two. Once you're done with your changes, you would click the arrow and then your parameter is going to be flashing again. That's going to allow you to go through the menu again. Once you're done making your changes, all you have to do is hit the gear. It's going to take you back to the main screen. Now your LEDs right here, you have a charge LED when we're creating energy or charging. So if you're charging with AC or solar, this is going to flash. And then we have the AC inverter flashing, letting you know the inverter is running and producing AC power. You also get a fault light, so if you have some sort of fault or error, this will turn red, letting you know at a glance that you have an issue. So with the app open, as you guys can see, we're generating 1.24 kilowatts. We're putting 1.19 into the batteries. We're at 79% state of charge, and we're using 55 watts. That's just the idle consumption of the inverter. I'm gonna go ahead and connect this thing to my 5,000 watt EG4 charge inverter. We're gonna go ahead and turn the charge inverter to 100 amps, and that's gonna pull about 5,000 watts from the system. It's so nice having the 1450 plug right on the unit because it makes it very easy to plug in large devices. All right, here's the charge inverter. We're gonna set this thing to 100 amps. And there we are, about 94 amps, using about 23 amps of AC current, pulling 97 amps on the battery side, about 5.6 kilowatts. Now I do hear the fans running, but they're still very quiet. The fans on the charge inverter are actually a lot louder. So I'm gonna put the mic close to the inverter so y'all can hear the fans. Next, we're gonna try to charge an electric vehicle at 40 amps at 240 volts. That should be close to 10,000 watts of power. So this extension cord right here, that's running to our EV charger. This is a level 2 charger. We have it set to 40 amps. We're pulling 9.5 kilowatts. Very close to 10,000 watts. The fans have definitely ramped up, but they're still not crazy loud. If you stand way back here, we're in the corner of the kitchen. You can definitely hear it running, but for being at almost full load, I think that's an acceptable amount of noise. It's pretty cool. Using the Sungold FR12K, we've pretty much made a portable EV charging cart, because this setup right here is completely portable. And we're only running about 300 amp hours worth of batteries. But this thing can easily charge a car at 10,000 watts. And that 10,000 watts is getting us about 19 miles of charging per hour. Next, I wanted to see how clean the power is coming out of this inverter. Now, they do say it's a pure sine wave inverter, and pretty much all of these all-in-ones are all gonna be pure sine wave inverters. But what does that actually mean? And how clean is the power actually coming out of this? Because if you're gonna be plugging in potentially your whole house with all your electronics on it, you want the power coming out of this to be very nice and very clean. Now, hopefully this shows up okay, but as you guys can see, we have a nice clean sine wave. That's exactly what we want to see. Our RMS, which is the average voltage, is 120.7. Our frequency is showing 59.99 hertz. Pretty much perfect. So using a very sensitive piece of equipment like an oscilloscope, I can pretty much confirm that this thing does have very clean power. Well guys, that's gonna do it for my initial overview, setup, unboxing, and testing of the Sungold Freedom 12,000 split phase 40 volt all-in-one inverter. Now, I really did like the unit, and I especially like the footprint of this thing because it's not very big for being able to put out 12,000 watts. It's significantly smaller than the EG4 12K-XP. Now, one thing to keep in mind, the EG4 12K actually has more output because it can do 15 kilowatts if it has solar, and it can also put out a lot more solar power, around 24 kilowatts versus this thing can only do 13.2 kilowatts. Now, those differences may not really matter if you're not needing more than 12,000 watts, and if you're not ever gonna connect a bigger array than 13.2 kilowatts, those two things really won't matter. But I do think the smaller size of this unit is gonna be a plus, especially if you're trying to mount this in a camper or something. Now, one thing I will say that Sungold definitely needs to improve on, and it's not gonna be just for this inverter, is at least in my instance, when using their app control with this inverter, the app appeared to be very laggy. So I would connect a load to this inverter, and it would take quite a bit of time of me refreshing the app a bunch of different times to get the load to show up, to show me exactly what the inverter was doing. So that was kind of annoying. But other than that, really didn't have any other issues testing this thing. Everything else seemed to work pretty good. Connecting the batteries to it was very easy. Getting the communications to work was very easy. Now, in a future video, I do have a couple of ideas and projects that I want to build using this inverter. And then I'm also trying to get my hands on a couple of other bigger split phase inverters. So I do want to do a bigger split phase inverter shootout, comparing a couple of different 12,000-ish watt models to each other. So if you are in the market for a Sungold inverter and you are considering this model, I do not think it is a bad choice. And all the other Sungold inverters that I've had have seemed to be holding up pretty good. Now, this only does have a 2-year warranty. I do wish the warranty period was at least 5 years, because it appears to be that a lot of the other mainstream inverters are giving you 5 years. Now, obviously, you never want to have to use your warranty in a perfect world, but I feel like if you're gonna be running like your entire house off this, for example, which you could do, as long as you make sure your loads are not too much for the unit to handle, so you're not running your AC, charging an electric car, and running your water heater at the same time. I run my house off a 12,000 watt inverter and I've never had any issues, but I would like to see a little bit better warranty for a little bit more peace of mind. Also, a big positive about this unit, and it seems like a lot of other inverters are going this way, built-in PV disconnect switch, built-in breakers, even the battery breaker, so you don't have to add a lot of extra stuff. You can literally connect your batteries straight to this thing. You don't gotta add anything extra. Now, if you were putting this in a really big setup, I would recommend maybe putting a T-class fuse if you want a little bit extra safety, but it's not required because you do have your breaker here. I'm gonna continue to do more testing on the side, and I actually am gonna connect this thing to my house as well and do a little bit more testing. So I will update you guys in a few months once I put some more kilowatt hours through this unit and see how it's doing. Let me know y'all's thoughts on this inverter in the comments. Let me know if you guys are using this inverter. Let me know the type of luck you guys are having, if you've had any problems or issues. I'd love to hear what you guys think. I'll be in the comment section as always, responding to as many as I can, and I will see y'all in the next video.